Good morning, televiewers of my Media Prime Television. You're welcome to this other edition of The Brief, live on my Media Prime Television, a program where we always get to dig several layers beneath the major headlines as captured by newspapers in the country. On today's edition of the program, the newspapers are focusing on the move taken by the U.S. government in protecting some Cameroonian asylum seekers. They have been granted 18 months to stay in the United States of America, and the revelation or the decision was made known recently by the State of Homeland Security, as many newspapers are reporting this morning. We shall equally tell you about what is happening in the northwest and southwest regions of the country, not leaving out some 10,000 Cameroonians who will soon go homeless as a result of the expansion of the Douala seaport. And the chiefs or Sawa chiefs have agreed that 10,000 houses should be demolished at the Mabanda neighborhood in the Douala 4 municipality. We shall tell you more on that. And Maitre Ndive will be joining us on the line to London for us to analyze together some of these major headlines as captured by newspaper. Bomotonguina, Gwladys is here. Let's find out what she gathered for us in the French language newspapers. Bonjour Gwladys.
Bonjour Lasha. Bonjour à vous et merci de nous retrouver pour Débrief, votre émission bilingue de revue de presse sur ma Media Prime et Télévision. Alors ce matin, pour ce jour de lundi, nous allons débuter avec le journal L'Entrepreneur qui nous parle, lui, de dépendance de blé au Cameroun. En effet, l'IRAD appelle à l'adoption d'une loi irrelative pour l'Institut de recherche agricole pour le développement. L'une des possibilités qui permettrait de pallier à cette situation que traverse le Cameroun par rapport aux importations de blé serait d'adopter une loi qui imposerait l'incorporation des substitutions locaux dans la fabrication de pain. Les détails sont donc en page 8 et 9 de ce journal L'Entrepreneur ce matin. Mesdames, Messieurs, nous poursuivons avec le journal Éco-Politique qui nous parle, lui, en grand titre d'un chaudron en ébullition dans la ville de Douala. En effet, après Sengue, les casses planifiées à Yupwe, Komba et Mabanda pourraient, si rien n'est fait, plonger la capitale économique d'Afrique centrale dans une crise sociale aux conséquences incalculables. Un scénario que le président Paul Biya ne voudrait pas offrir au monde. Où est donc passée la responsabilité sociale des entreprises commanditaires telles que le PAD et le Maxi? Les détails sont donc en page 5 de ce journal. Mesdames, Messieurs, nous continuons ce matin avec le journal Mutation, lui, qui nous parle du retour de lumière à Tibati et Gaundal. En effet, le ministre des Eaux et de l'Énergie vient de procéder à l'inauguration de la centrale hydroélectrique de Mbakwa, Carrière, dont l'Adamawa. Près de 2000 nouveaux ménages raccordés. Les détails sont donc en page 8 et 9 de ce journal Mutation ce matin. Nous continuons dans le même journal qui nous parle en page 5 des enseignants tortionnaires, 9 et 6 mois de prison. Ils ont donc reçu 9 et 6 mois de prison pour avoir torturé un élève. En page 6, le journal nous parle de recrutement spécial, 14 universités face au jury. Nous terminons, mesdames, messieurs, ce matin avec le journal L'Anecdote, lui qui vient nous parler de logistique de la CAN 2021. En effet, 89 bus sont portés disparus. 2 mois après la cérémonie de clôture officielle de la 33e édition de la Coupe d'Afrique des Nations de football disputée au Cameroun, les véhicules acquis pour le transport des différentes délégations ayant pris part à cette compétition restent donc introuvables. Sur les 90 bus mis en service à l'occasion de cet événement continental, seul celui des Lions Indomptables est repérable. Les détails sont donc en page 11 de ce journal. En page 4, le journal L'Anecdote nous révèle que le gouvernement a donc maintenu le kilogramme de viande de bœuf à 2500 francs CFA. En page 7, le journal nous parle de violence sur un élève. 2 enseignants sont donc condamnés. 4 morts dans un éboulement à Batouri. Les détails sont en page 5 de ce journal L'Anecdote ce matin. Mesdames, Messieurs, c'est ici que nous arrêtons pour ces titres en langue française. Place à la découverte de ces titres en langue anglaise avec toi, Lasha.
Thank you, Bomotonguina. Bomotonguina. Gwladys, let's kickstart this morning with News Watch. Newspaper News Watch is focusing on the move taken by the U.S. government in protecting some Cameroonian asylum seekers over there in the United States of America. U.S. offers protection to Cameroonians fleeing Anglophone crisis, Boko Haram. The paper tells us that move seen as a grim message from Biden's administration to President Paul Biya's regime that situation in troubled regions not under control. More details in this edition of News Watch newspaper, talking about the protection given Cameroonians in the United States of America. And the paper is also telling us that Northwest DDR coordinator accuses elites of using structure for political gains. The paper says the coordinator of the disarmament, demobilization and reintegration DDR Northwest region has accused the Yaoundé-based elite of the region of using the Center for Political Gains. Kum Henry, Northwest DDR Center coordinator, made public the accusation during a press conference last week in Bamenda, chief town of the Northwest region. During the media outing, which was meant to present the balance sheet of his activities at the center 7 months since he was appointed, Kum Henry also disclosed that the elites are using the existence of the center to give false impression to the regime of return to normalcy in the region, whereas bloodshed continues on a daily basis. He called on the elite to stop the maneuver. More details on page 5 of this edition of News Watch newspaper. We continue with News Watch newspaper to talk about Anglophone detainee, Anglophone crisis detainee who has reportedly died at the Kondingi maximum security prison. Anglophone crisis detainee dies under clothed circumstances in Kondingi prison, writes News Watch newspaper. Let's talk about this other headline with News Watch newspaper that has to do with MPs from the Northwest region during dinner with Prime Minister. They encourage a peace building or initiative. The MPs, according to the paper, elites to encourage a peace building initiative in the Northwest region. Let's talk about this decision or the decision of President Paul Biya to deploy troops to tackle or to track down killers of Northwest prison boss and the collaborators. The paper tells us this morning that Northwest Governor Adovlele Lafrique says official died out of negligence, reasons why President Paul Biya has ordered a deployment of troops to go track down perpetrators or killers of the administrators or government officials in the Northwest region of the country, precisely in Bui Division, where they were returning on mission before they met their demise. More details in this edition of News Watch. On to the Post. The Post newspaper this morning is telling us that Sawa chiefs have endorsed demolition of over 10,000 houses in a bid to expand the Douala port. Operations said to leave thousands on uncompensated homeless people, thousands of Anglophones, IDPs in Mabanda neighborhood, that's in Bunaberi, Douala 4 subdivision, to be affected, as we are told by the Post newspaper. The Post newspaper is also telling us that the United States government has donated 17 billion to tackle food insecurity in the country, and we stay in line with what the U.S. government is doing. This time around, we are talking about Anglophone crisis and Boko Haram up north, and the U.S. government grants Cameroonian asylum seekers, migrants, 18 months protection status. The paper tells us that the American government has for the first time designated Cameroon for the much advocated temporary protected status TPS, which grants Cameroonian asylum seekers and migrants freedom to stay in the United States of America for the next 18 months. The TPS, which began on April 14, 2022, is anchored on the ongoing armed conflicts in Cameroon and extraordinary and temporary conditions that prevent safe deportation, stated the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, DHS, which made the announcement on April 15, 2022. More details in this edition of the Post newspaper. Let's talk about the cry of Ate Bazo, the general manager of Sonacam. Sonacam AGM election or AGM. Artists accuse Arts and Culture Minister of shielding embezzler. They say government wants Ate Bazo's downfall because he is Anglophone. More details in this edition of the Post newspaper. We end this morning with the Guardian Post newspaper. The Guardian Post this morning is also talking about the armed conflict in the northwest and southwest regions. And the paper says all Indian conference for return to peace and development in view. And the paper is explaining further that stakeholders also charm offensive to sweet-talk secessionist hardliners to embrace peace and development in the region. And the paper is also talking about Ate Bazo, who is the general manager of Sonacam. And in an exclusive interview granted Christain, or the Guardian Post Christain, the paper says they want me out of Sonacam because I am Anglophone. Those were the words of Ate Bazo, who is the general manager of Sonacam, which is a music rights corporation of the country. More details about the exclusive interview granted the Guardian Post newspaper only in this edition of the said newspaper. Let's talk about this move taken by the ministers of secondary education and that of public service and administrative reform to ease treatment of files and of teachers in the country. Minister Nalova Lyonga Josephly create working group to ease the treatment of files of teachers in the country. And as armed conflict in the northwest and southwest worsens, U.S. grants protection to 40,000 Cameroonian asylum seekers. The decision was made recently by the Homeland Security, announcing that 40 Cameroonians will henceforth stay in the United States of America for the next 18 months. Thank you for watching, televiewers of My Media Prime Television. We are joined by Maitre Ndive from London, and he is here with us this morning to talk about some of the burning issues, especially this temporary protection offered Cameroonian asylum seekers by the United States of America. Good morning, Maitre Alex, and thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning, televiewers. I understand we have poor connection, but I will try my best. I don't know if you've asked me yet.
Okay. Let's talk about this temporary, stay of Cameroonians in the United States of America, the first to be granted Cameroonians by the U.S. government. How did you receive the move of these people who say they are running away from Boko Haram insurgencies up north and the secessionist movement of fights in the northwest and southwest regions of the country?
I understand you're asking me about the temporary protected status that the American government gave to some migrants. I must tell you that on this your platform some time ago, I made it clear when some members of parliament signed that we should send back some Cameroonians to Cameroon. I made it clear on your program that they should distinguish between a criminal matter and immigration matter. For the sake of our televiewers, temporary protection status has long been used as a humanitarian solution for migrants who are unable to return safe to their home country with condition to reside and to work legally in America. The key word here to me is they cannot return safely back to their country.
But there are other regions of the country that they can return. There are other regions that they can return and live there. Not all the regions of the country are plagued with the conflicts.
Yeah, I understand clearly you're talking about the conflict in our country. But the way I would like to answer your question is clear. If you have a government that have got a protection to protect its, to maintain law and order, provide lead, and they cannot do it. Another country is protecting your own citizens. It tells you that you're not fit for purpose. It tells you that the Cameroon government, they are not able to protect their own people. So to me, I look at it as a disgrace, and it tells you that the government of Cameroon is not fit for purpose.
Ok,
Ok,
Gwladys.
merci beaucoup, Maître. Alors, on a 89 bus parmi les bus qui ont transporté les différentes équipes qui ont participé à la Coupe d'Afrique des Nations. Il n'y a que le bus des Lions Indomptables qui est traçable.
I did not get you talk about the
80
indomitable lions
les 90 bus,
participating
les 90 bus qui ont transporté les différentes équipes qui ont participé à la Coupe d'Afrique des Nations. 89 bus sont introuvables. Il n'y a que le bus des Lions Indomptables que nous pouvons retrouver.
Are you with us, Maitre?
Oh, I get you say 89 bus transported the indomitable lions to where?
No.
We are saying that out of the 89 buses that were available during the AFCON, they just ended AFCON, so many of such buses have disappeared, and only that of the Indomitable Lions is left now.
Oh, I understand you now. I can get your question clearly. But however, to be honest, if you understand Cameroon, you know a lot of vehicles, when there was a time they will set government vehicles and people give it is not shocking, but what I will tell you, the way things are happening in Cameroon, it means that there's a missing leadership. Something is happening now in Cameroon. People are not governing the country. There's no accountability. There's no checks and balances. That is what is happening in Cameroon now. Something is missing. And if I should put it, there is a missing president.
Maitre Alex, Sawa chiefs have endorsed demolition of over 10,000 houses at the Mabanda neighborhood in Douala 4 municipality. And this is in a bid to expand the Douala seaport. And these 10,000 Cameroonians, they will not be compensated, and most of them don't have a place to go.
First of all, my point I will first make is that who won the contract to expand the port? A British company, a foreign company, capital flow, money leaving our country, not getting into our country. So it's so sad. Then the next point again, who achieved to endorse the expansion? I don't understand. Whether it's the governor, whether it's the GO, whether it's Mr. We don't know who is running Cameroon. A chief is chiefs are traditional rulers.
But they own the land. They own the land, Maitre. They own the land.
To be honest, how do we know they own the land? Individuals, they own land, government own land. I know it's government who talk about the project. We haven't seen evidence that they own the land. You just understand that they control the land in most places in Cameroon. How do they own the land? And you cannot remove people in place without rehousing them or compensating them. These people are citizens of the country, and the government have got a duty to rehouse them, to provide them with economic assistance, and to provide them with other things. That is the function of the government. The government should exercise its function. Our citizens, they have rights. They cannot be treated as enemies in the house.
Maitre, the problem, many Cameroonians have raised this question of chiefs that they are the ones who sold out the land. Why are they endorsing demolition today, probably 50, 60 years, 40 years after those people have constructed on those parcels of land? Why are they coming back? Did they not know that the seaport was going to grow in 40, 50 years? That they sold the land to the people and now they are sending them away without any compensation?
You know the chief, they work hand in gloves with the ex-GOs governors. So when they sell this land or they cannot deal with this matter, all of them, they are involved. It's a circle. It's a 40% circle. Before you sell the land, the chief cannot do it on. It involves the governors, the GOs. So the difficulty is, if they try to investigate it, they will be investigating themselves. So it's a common man that will have to suffer.
But Maitre, somebody like you, most of you are lawyers, and this is not the first case. We've seen situations where somebody, an individual comes and they fence an entire quarter claiming he owns the quarter. And you lawyers, most of you sit quiet, you are not fighting for the common man.
Yeah, the point is, I'm telling you the truth. I know Cameroon. I was born there. I live there. I know how it operates. If our people keep quiet and they look at themselves like foreigners in their own country, nothing will happen. Sometimes these people, they have to take the risk and protest and stand for their rights and sleep in front of the chief's house, sleep in front of the governors or SDOs. You have to do it. I was in Cameroon. I used to do it. Protesting for your right, protesting peacefully, nobody will do anything. There is that fear.
But what is the guarantee that if you go? What is the guarantee that if you go out, public order will be maintained? That's the problem. We are talking about. I'm talking about an individual. We've had individuals who go to, quarters and fence entire quarters, claiming it belongs to them, and nobody said anything. People were removed, evicted from those quarters. So many of such quarters in Douala here.
My point, most Cameroonians, they know their right. They like to listen to hearsay. They'll say, oh, I've done this before, it did not work. If you go and do it, the same thing will happen to you. I like to do things and get my own result. Cameroonians should not keep quiet. What they should do, they should make sure they see either lawyers. I don't know, there are a couple of lawyers in Cameroon. I don't know they should see them and ask for advice and write to the authority.
Mais, Maître, est-ce qu'il n'y a pas d'avocats au Cameroun qui peuvent prendre le cas de ces Camerounais-là qui sont sans soutien, sans recours, sans rien du tout?
What I would tell you, there are lawyers in Cameroon, but most people are concerned more with their money. They are not lawyers who are really working.
Oh, sorry, we lost Maitre Alex there, and it's on that note, televiewers, that we end today's edition of the program, while reminding you that as from tomorrow, Tuesday, the brief will be 1 hour. We'll be moving from 10 to 10:30 we will be moving from 10:30 to 11 o'clock. So the program will run from 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock every day, as we are announcing right now. So the brief is an hour now. So do make sure that you stay with us, and for more, as we'll be coming on board with some innovations, some progress when it comes to this program, Gwladys Bomotonguina.
Effectivement, Lasha Kinsley.
Okay, tomorrow is another day. See you. Bye-bye.
Welcome to a new world of TV.